Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome to eHeroes. Today's eHero is Christine Schlonski, and we are heading to Berlin. And today we're going to learn all about mindset. We're going to learn about, you know what? I'm going to let you listen in, and you can find out more information from Christine, because let me tell you, I watched some of her videos, I watched some of her podcasts, and she is phenomenal.
Well, thank you so much, Rob. I'm so excited to be here and share my secrets.
Well, we only have about 35 minutes, no, actually 25 minutes.
Some of them.
So we'll share some secrets. But let's start off with mindset, because, you know, I think that's one of the biggest things entrepreneurs forget about. They think about money, they think about marketing, they think about their clients, but they don't think about mindset.
Yeah. And what I have discovered is that mindset is like everything, because without the right mindset, you will sabotage yourself. If you sabotage yourself, you will sabotage your business. So I teach a lot, especially on sales. So it's a sales success mindset. What people need to do to not just think about the money, because the money will follow the success. Right? You add value to the marketplace and people will pay you. So when you are successful in adding that value, you don't even need to worry about money. That will just come. And the more value you add, the more you can charge. So that's basically it. And I know that a lot of entrepreneurs, they're so busy, you know, and I catch myself from time to time. Just a day passes by and it's already then in the evening. You think like, what did I do today? Like, what did I actually do to create more value instead of, you know, checking all those emails, answering all the requests and whatever, like what did I do? So I think it's important to have like a little routine, maybe in the morning, to set yourself up for the day and to get or start being conscious of your thoughts, right? Mm-hmm. Because if I keep thinking like, oh, I need to create more money, that feels tight, that feels like stress, that makes the fun go away. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, we might get really or become boring for the people around us, for our customers, because we are too focused and we are not doing what adds value for them. So I think mindset, really understanding where you are, where you want to go, is also understanding to who do you need to become? Who is that person who is already there where you want to go, and how are they? And I can promise you they have a different mindset, because if you would already have that mindset, you already would be there. So it's such an important element in business especially.
And I think that stress, you know, when it comes to social media posting, you know, they look at that thinking, oh my goodness, that's my marketing, but I have no idea what I'm supposed to post. So they spend hours and hours and hours trying to come up with the perfect things to post. And I've discovered a long time ago that your customer doesn't respond to perfect. They respond to you. So, you know, don't stress over your posts. Post what you feel is right for you. Just keep on going. But you don't have to post 5, 6, 7 times a day. You can post 1 time a day. And if you get response, great. If you don't worry about it. Just keep on going. And I look at some of my entrepreneur clients and they're like, Rob, I can't do this social media stuff. It's too much. And then what happens is they lock themselves out of that mindset. So they're not doing social anymore. And then they eventually say, well, marketing is too hard. I'm not going to do that. And then something else is too hard. Before you know it, they've given up and they're not doing anything.
What a shame. Yeah, I think, you know, I remember writing my first post. That took me about like 2 to 3 hours. And I was like, this is not going to go well, right? I didn't like it, but I knew, you know, I had to stretch and I just had to push myself. Mm-hmm. So I just took it and I posted it. And I was like, oh, let's see what happens. And you know what? I made a commitment and I kept going. So I put one post after the other, and then all of a sudden, people were engaging much more. Then I had comments, I had more likes, and I always start my post with "Hi, gorgeous."
Mm-hmm.
So I had people coming up to me and saying, "Hi, gorgeous," and I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, I've been reading your stuff and I'm thinking like, interesting. I've never seen a like or heart from you. So where have you been?
Mm-hmm.
So just knowing that people don't interact the way you hope they would do or you expect them to do, but they still consume your stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I still think is really, really important. So when you like only have like 10 likes, know that probably 30, maybe 40 people have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be disappointed. It's just keep going and growing. And with every step on the way that you add value, people will notice you. And people appreciate if you keep showing up.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a reliable source of motivation, inspiration, adding that value, they will come, they will learn about you, they will trust you. And once they trust you and love you, they buy from you.
Mm-hmm.
That's simple, but it takes some time.
And I also think that individuality has to play a big part in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that entrepreneurs worry so much about what others think about them. And just like you posted "Hi, gorgeous," and that started to become your brand, your trademark. People started to know who you were,
Yeah.
and with me, I let people know that, I can be fun, I can be sarcastic, I can be an ass, I can be all those things. But when it comes to business, I'm going to be serious. I'm going to get the job done. And I'm going to make sure that the ROI that you're paying me to achieve is going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the problem is that all these entrepreneurs are saying, well, I want to be like him or her. I want to use their marketing. You can't do that. It has to be individuality. And we've become a society of people that are all thinking the same. And you can't do that.
Yeah. That's so interesting what you're saying, and it's so true as well. So when you allow yourself the gift of authenticity, you make your life so much easier because you can just show up. That's all you need to do is show up and be you. But we still think that we have to be like the super professional, right? We have to show up in a certain way. I remember when I started way back when my first sales job, I was asking for a really high ticket number on the phone. And I remember that I did, I was so dead serious. I didn't smile. I didn't think anything was funny. When it came to the point when I had to say the investment, I was like nervous and shaking and thinking of that big number. And I had a colleague and she always had a good time. And I thought, well, that's so unprofessional. Well, guess what? She closed so much more business because she had fun. She was just being herself.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me quite a long time, understanding the product and the way to sell it and everything. And then I had to make a decision. I was like, I'm just going to try to laugh and have a good time on the phone. And guess what? The first times it felt so weird because it wasn't me. And then it became so natural that all of a sudden, other people that started new in the job were looking up at me like, why is she laughing all the time? This is so serious. And it doesn't have to be this way. It's you making the decision.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one key element that I understood. It took a while to put it into action or to trust that it is true. You can never, ever influence what another person thinks about you. You are not in their head. You can't manage their thoughts. So basically, it's none of your business what they are thinking, right? It's your business are your thoughts and their business are their thoughts. So just don't even interfere or worry. Just show up. If they don't like it, well, too bad. They're going to go somewhere else. but you might also discover that they just love what you do because you've shown who you are, and you don't try to imitate somebody else, like renting the big loft and putting the Ferrari and taking some branding pictures. Just be you, be where you are, be true to yourself and enjoy the ride, because at the end of the day, it is a game, right? We all come and go, and you might as well make the best out of it.
A long time ago, a friend of mine said, Rob, you have to learn 101 ways to close a sale. And I said, why? He says, because, people are fickle. They want to be sold. I said, no, they don't want to be sold. And I don't want to learn 101 ways to close a sale. I'm going to learn one. And he goes, what do you mean one? I'm going to learn how to build trust. And he says, well, that's stupid. I said, well, that's me. I don't want to learn all that crap. So I'm going to learn how to build trust with a relationship. And by the end of the year, I was making more sales than he was. And he just couldn't believe it. Yeah. But I was being my authentic self, where he was trying to, force a sale that didn't belong.
Yeah. And I mean, you know that as a marketing pro, right? I mean, you have like this big background, but we buy emotions. We buy what the other person has, and the product is more or less like the excuse to work with them, right? That's what they offer. But in reality, we want to know, well, what does she have that I am attracted to, that I don't have yet, right? What is he all about? Why is that working? So we are constantly looking for ways to connect with people that, we are impressed by, and that they have something that we would love to achieve, that we would love to represent or become. And that's why we are looking for that deeper connection. So if you show up authentically, it's so much easier because you just have a conversation. And then business evolves. I mean, obviously you need to make an offer or an invitation to work with you if it's a match. You shouldn't miss that important point. But just, having the conversation, having fun, and being you will lead to more success. As you just said, you just learned the one way to close, being you, being authentic, and all of a sudden you pass this tactical, strategical, non-emotional way of dealing with clients.
Let's talk about, you have a podcast too. It's called HeartSells?
Yeah, HeartSells.
And how did that come about?
Yeah, I have always loved to talk to people, to interview people. So I have also a masterclass called the Sales Mentality Makeover Masterclass. Long word. Might not be too wise looking at it from a marketing standpoint. But I was thinking that, if I get together all these wonderful experts and authorities in the market sharing their wisdom, and, from the energy, the input you have to put in, that's kind of work. So doing it once or twice a year, it's kind of the limit. And I was looking for ways, how can I continue these conversation? How can I continue to inspire people on a regular basis, and not just once a year, for 10 days or 2 weeks, give them the interviews and then, be quiet or silent again. So I was really looking forward to that. And I noticed when I became a coach, so I had the sales background. I never intended to be in sales, but, I wanted to work at this company. And then I sent in my CV, and the CEO gave it to the sales department. And then their boss called me. And so I had to make a decision. It's either not work at the company that I chose is like the best to work at, or starting out in sales that I never wanted to do. So I choose to give it a try and to learn everything. And then, there comes a point when you're not really happy where you are or what you do. And I figured, well, I can go somewhere else. The grass is greener on the other side. But I probably, whatever it is that's holding me back now, I'm going to take that with me. So I'm going to start at zero and, have to build up everything again. Plus, I still have my challenges. So I was looking into coaching. And to make a long story short, I took the coach training and I saw all these beautiful people. And we worked really close together for a year. They had all the different backgrounds and just amazing people, wonderful coaches. But there was a one-day training. It was supposed to be a day. It turned out to be half a day where we were supposed to learn how to sell ourselves as a coach, how to offer our services. And this was such a weird training. I don't really remember like the words that were said, but I remember that feeling in the room, like everybody was like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I don't want to sell myself. I don't want to make the offer. So it was really interesting to see that they could not give their gifts to the world simply to the fact they didn't really want to sell themselves. And, I was in sales back then for quite a while. So I would say I was the only one in the room that was kind of cool with it. And I noticed that these beautiful people are in their own way. And I think that is when the seed was planted for me to go into that coaching direction, and then to really say, well, I want people to be authentic, right? I don't want to be sold to, but I do like to buy if I see my benefits. So how can we sell from the heart, like, with a T at the end and not the push, the 101 ways? Like, how can we make that fun, enjoyable, not just for us, but also for the other person that we want to bring value to? Because every coach in that coach training was truly heart-centered, but they, by not bringing their gifts to the world, they, limit their business growth, they limit the growth of their own family. Because if you want to travel, and we just discussed, we both love travel, if you want to travel, you need money. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to say, well, come on here, you can sit on that plane because, I just like your face, or you can coach me like half an hour really quick, and then you can hop on and I take you all the way to Europe or to Australia or wherever, right? It's not going to happen. So by being in your own way, by not selling, it's going to hurt you. So I figured with a podcast, if I manage to touch thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions people's lives, just by giving that spark, that inspiration, like sales doesn't need to be hard. Mm-hmm. You can be you. You can, show up. And the people I've interviewed so far, they all have amazing businesses. Mm-hmm. And they manage to sell, and they manage to make money and create a successful company, but they also stayed in their heart. Mm-hmm. So I'm just fascinated with this topic. As you can see, I'm super passionate about it, because that is the way that you can grow, that you can pay for your dreams, that you can be your next best version, because you have the means to do that, the resources, and that's simply money. Yeah. So that's all you need.
Money is just a tool, but it allows you to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And traveling is one of them.
Yeah. I mean, how beautiful if you just take your family on a trip, right? Like all the memory that creates. I mean, that's invaluable. There's no price tag for that.
I saw some of your beautiful pictures, and I mean, you travel all over the place. You come to the United States, you're evidently you're in Germany, but you're all over Europe. And so how did your business help you transform from a local, company to more of a global company? Because that's basically what I did is, I had at one time a small local service business for 20 years. And that's where I developed marketing and my trust and my authority and all this other stuff. But everybody in the local community knew me. And so when I started writing books, I became more global. I sold that tiny little business, focused on more of the global aspect. And people are like, You're doing what now? Huh? And they're like, wait, didn't you just own that other cup? And they're confused because they don't think that one person can make that shift and do something different, and now is coaching people all over the globe. You know?
Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, what a nice journey. So, and just, you already said it, you made a decision, right? So you have to decide. So when I, started to create my business, I thought about it, especially, when it came to the ideal client, like who would I want to serve? And, at the beginning, it's not that easy, right? You don't know really where to start. And so I thought, and I was like, well, if I do it in German, I know I want to travel. I know I want to work globally. So if I do all my stuff in German, then it's kind of limited. And then I was like, well, if I do it in English, people will get what I'm saying, and I can work globally. And my ideal client, even if she or he is a German, they speak English. So when we work one-on-one, I just switch to German, but all my other content they can understand. So I think I made the decision right from the get-go, because I knew I wanted to travel. I lived a year in the US, I lived a year in Paris, and I just love traveling, and there's so much that I haven't discovered yet, that I still have on my adventure list, and
I think that everybody needs an adventure list, because without that adventure list, you can't think how your business is going to grow to be able to give you the tools, the money to be able to go on those adventures. And honestly, you created that business to fund your personal life. You didn't fund your personal life to, work as a slave in your business. So.
Yeah, well, I think it's important to have that lifestyle, right, that you really dream of, that time freedom, that money freedom. And, at the beginning, it's not there. You have to do something for it. So you have to decide. But then you have all these opportunities opening up because you create your own life. So that's just what I love.
How do my listeners on the eHeroes podcast, how do they get a hold of you?
Oh, they can just hop on over to christineschlonski.com. That's my page. The podcast is on there. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find me. And I'd love to get to know your story. I love to connect with people. So please reach out, say hello, and listen to HeartSells Podcast.
HeartSells Podcast. Subscribe everywhere, right?
Yep.
I started putting the eHeroes everywhere, and then I started pulling it out of some places because it wasn't the audience. It was, it just seemed to be a placeholder, and I wanted people to actually listen. So now I direct them to iTunes and Google Play and the places where I know people are listening.
Yeah, yeah. And I love the title eHeroes. I think it's brilliant.
It was a concept that, I believe that, years ago, Michael Gerber came out with a book called E-Myth. And I think that everybody should read it. It's a little dry, but I think that it gives you the concepts to be a better entrepreneur. But here, I want to interview, my goal with this whole series is to interview entrepreneurs that are actually doing it, that are being a success, that are traveling, that are helping others, and so that they can open up and be inspiring to others. And so, if you go through all the different, the interviews that I've done over the last year, everyone's a little different. And I like that eclectic mix because everybody's going to learn something different from somebody else.
So true.
So I want to thank you for being a great interviewee. And I hope to get you back because you have so much to offer. So hopefully we can get you back. But all you listeners out there, make sure that you go to HeartSells Podcast. Make sure you go to Christine's website. And if you're watching the video, I'll post it down below so you get, the correct links. Anyway, I'll catch you guys on the next podcast and talk to you soon.